Welcome to part two of this series where we are trying to learn EU5. Now, if you haven't watched the first part and you may wonder why we're starting on this screen, it's simply down to the fact that I tried to save the game, but you can't save the game in walkthrough. So in real time, I've had a break. I've went and had a cup of coffee and had something to eat and sat down and tried to digest everything we covered in part one. And what I want going to do now is move on. But just to give you a recap of where we are, I'm just going to back up to map mode. So what we've done here is we've actually, oops, I've got to go back. We were going through basically the breakdown of our capital location, which is here in 100 control. Control is that basically is an efficiency measure. And so we're currently working through this. I've got to now have to come here and click this to be able to reactivate this. So what we've got here is Den Haag is our capital. And then what we got is in this map mode, the decrease in efficiency, which we get as you move away from the capital. This is going to be very important simply because obviously, especially if you're going to do aggressive expansion, you've got to find some way to improve this control so that you can get maximum efficiency. Otherwise, what you could do if you expanded aggressively, what could happen is that eventually you will get to a point where you're going to get absolutely zipped from areas that you conquer. I think one of the weaknesses we're going to have with Holland is they're on the coast. I don't know if there's any benefit for coastal locations. Anyway, what I'm going to do now is we're just going to move through to the next level. This is where we are. Now, this just covers what I've just been talking about. So it says next. Now, let's take a look at the proximity map mode. You can access this from the proximity tooltip, similar to what you did for control. Hover over the proximity tooltip and oops. Okay, so what is the So this is colors. So now let us take a look at the proximity tooltip. But all it's done is it's just removed the number. Oh, maybe the color shows the proximity. Maybe if we were in a different country, it might be a bit more dramatic because this walkthrough scales according to, because technically you can do this walkthrough for any country, I think. Map modes. The proximity map mode shows you how far away locations are from the capital in practical terms. You may notice how proximity spreads further along plains and rivers and is severely hampered by mountains. Well, Holland doesn't really have any mountains, so that might explain why this isn't very dramatic. But I can imagine if you were doing, say, Castile or the Ottomans or something like that, or possibly, well, I think, what was it, Norway, that would have a far bigger impact. Says topography vegetation play an important role calculating. It also does the presence of human-made infrastructure like roads and ports. Clicking on different locations while in map mode will show you the path using the right capital. So water proximity does give us a benefit. I don't know what I've just done, but let's take a look up here then. Okay, we got open the map modes panel. Well, what happened there? Let's just click on. There are dozens of different map modes. Yeah, you're not kidding, mate. I've looked through all these map modes. Just to show you. See, we've now got the map mode here. These are ones that you could say are your favorites. But if you click on things like this, oh no, it's the search. You've got these here. God knows what they all do. For instance, you may be interested in the various markets around the world and distribution and population of your country. You can access all the map modes by hovering over the widget in the bottom of the screen and selecting a specific map mode. Feel free to explore, but do not feel like you need to get acquainted with them all right away. You're not kidding. Remember to go back to the default map mode control by pressing Control Q or select. No, I'll just do Control Q. That's a hotkey that I am going to. We close that as well. Okay, so we can move on there. It says here roads. Wow. So we've said that we need a proximity to have control, but how do we improve proximity? There are multiple different ways, by one of the most important ones of building roads. Roads improve the connection between two locations by reducing the proximity lost for your locations that use both the path to reach the capital. Let us build a road from Den Haag. You will notice that it will cost ducats. says open the Den Haag panel. Okay, click on the road builder. Click on the neighboring location on the map. So we're in Den Haag. Right, we've got 172. I think I'd like, if possible, 88. I don't want to spend too much money. What's the cheapest? I think we'll build a road to Leiden. Okay, so it's now told us that it's building a road. And I presume it's going to take a little bit of time. It says next. Okay. So eventually you build roads across the map, but it said it was a gravel road, didn't it? Maybe when you research tech, that you will get better roads. I was about to say you can build a motorway, but of course the motorways wouldn't exist in this game. Bravo, the road is now under construction. It will take some months to finish, but you can see that the construction progress in the circular widget at the top of the map over your capital. Okay. I'm not seeing this circular over the top. Oh, over the top of your capital. Okay, that's it here. Oh, so we saw those down here. What are these guys building then? They're raising a naval levy and they're not messing about, are they? They're raising an army and a navy. Oh, that's not fair. We got little ships down here as well. And this all we're building is a road. The construction of buildings and the RGOs are very similar and similar. Once it finishes, proximity in the target location will improve accordingly to see its control rise. The construction of buildings, resource RGOs and regiments work very similar. They cost ducats and require goods and from the market to take some time. So you need money and goods. So you can't just buy things. If you buy things, you also get there will be a cost from what you buy from the market. So certain key things you're going to need to produce yourself, aren't you? Okay, so we're going to have a lovely little pretty picture here. There's all roads lead to Den Haag. All roads lead to Den Haag. Proximity and control are among the most important mechanics to master in EU5. Your crown power, tax base, and the size of your levies will directly depend on the control of your locations, which in turn depends on the proximity from the capital. This means that laying out roads from the capital is paramount for all countries, big and small. Size from roads, proximity can propagate by sea, though doing so efficiently requires harbour capacity and maritime presence. So it's roads, harbours go to proximity, which go to control, which improves crown power, tax base and levies. Think that outliner. Cool. What have we got here now? Before we finish, let's go over a couple of extra UI elements that you will need to know, starting with the outliner. The outliner offers an overview of what's going on in your country. For instance, you can see that the road is just built under the construction group. So that's down here. Okay. The contents of the outliner are highly customizable, and much like the control groups, you can pin a variety of things to the outliner, such as countries, markets, armies. To do this, you utilize the context menu, which you can be accessed by right-clicking a location of a country on the map. Okay. Right-click somewhere on the map and then look for the star icon. I'm interested in this. What's it? Zealand. So we're going to right click there and we're going to pin the action. Okay, so we've now got country there. Yeah, I think Zealand is going to be something that we're going to need to do because it is part of South Holland. For anyone who didn't watch the first part, I've worked out that Zealand here is in our area of South Holland. It's part of South Holland, but it's not at the moment. It seems to be some kind of free state, which we're going to be taking a look at. So next, automation, nicely done. You'll be able to access everything you've pinned on the right side of the screen. We are almost at the end of the introduction. We have automated some features to help focus on learning the basics, so you can control what aspects of the game you're automated at any time. So automation is there. Wow. Automate. Right, I'm just going to have a look down. So we've got balance, trade, production, buildings. Close and open buildings. Let the game close and open buildings depend on your profitability. Subsidize buildings, destroy buildings. I wouldn't really want the game to destroy buildings. Take care of how you get goods. That could be quite useful in the beginning of the game. Cabinet. We haven't even touched cabinet. Parliament or a parliament or stage there. Diplomacy, exploration, army construction. Oh, there's something I definitely want to replace. I'm terrible at remembering to replace generals and that people in charge of navies in games. And then we get into a war, and then the army goes to war without a general, and then you get beaten. The game will pick rivals for you. I suppose in some ways, one thing you could do with the automation is say like say we're just starting out and we got to choose rivals. You just automate it, let the game choose and make a recommendation. And then, of course, if you drop a save, they let the game choose the rivals, and then if you don't like the rivals, you can just go back to the save and do it. So this might be a way to experiment with what the game thinks is best, and then you can decide on whether you actually agreed with what the game thinks is best. Okay, so that's going to be something that could be used. We've got hints about advances and cabinets. Okay. Alerts. Another important element that we'll be using during your campaign is alerts. They will appear underneath the top bar and inform you of a variety of matters that will eventually need your attention, sorted by their level of urgency, but most urgent is red and green. Note that you will get alerts related to parts of the game that you have. Note that you will not get alerts related to the parts of the game that you have automated. Most alerts have a related hint that helps them address it. So we're over the fort limit. Unprofitable buildings, inefficient minting, and God knows what's causing that. Pops have needs, so again it means you've got to bring stuff in to keep your population happy. Buildings have missing inputs. Possible rivals, yeah, so that's what I was just talking about. Children can have a better education. Cool, knows what that is. Possible reforms, possible diplomatic information, possible cabinet actions, no current research. Starting advice, start a new mission tree. Okay, well, I'm just going to keep going for the moment. Agenda. Lastly, we recommend you take a look at the agenda at the beginning of every game, where you can find a little bit of historical context for your country and collect those hints. So the agenda is here. Starting advice for Holland. Pops demanding goods. Okay, so this is just literally covering that bit there. Oops, open the agenda. Next. On to missions. I thought we were finishing. We are now on the end of the basic walkthrough. We can now proceed by embarking on a specific walkthrough of your choosing. Depending on your choice, you will receive a brief explanation of how to expand your knowledge on the parts of the game experience. After that, you will be presented with different mission paths, which will offer different goals and rewards to guide you through initial steps of the Europa Universalis V. Good luck with good luck, and may your nation prosper with the tides of time. Open the government tab. Okay, so it says pick a mission tree. It's kind of pointing it, so we got not start. Okay, so we'll click there. Start the economy walkthrough. Wow, so we get another walkthrough now. So the missions, are these part of the game, or is this just part of the learning process? So we've got an economy walkthrough now. Okay, open the economy pad. Oh, well, this is where we get our brain fried. There's open the markets tab. Here we can see the list of markets where your country is present. While on the map you can see all the markets in the known world. Every location belongs to a market which they sell the goods they produce and buy the goods that they need. Many things in this game require goods. Pops need goods to live. Construction needs goods to progress. Buildings and goods to function. Armies need goods to fight. Cool. For instance, you can see on the map that your capital, Den Haag, belongs to the Bruges market. So let me just see what I say. So So these are the markets. So we're in this market. So what is this? Okay, so right, Bruges market. Okay, you can also right click on the market name or card anywhere in the game. So okay, so we can bring that up. Okay, next. The production of all locations is sold every month to the market stockpile, providing, what's the stockpile then? This is a quantity of the good that is currently stored in the warehouse in the market. It increases if supply is higher than demand, but will decrease if the opposite. Buildings, construction units of the market will use the stockpile. Providing them with the tax base, yes. Conversely, all locations try to buy the goods they need from their market and by order of their market access. Market access represents how easy a location can interact with the market, and then depend on the distance to the market center. Oh, so Bruges is our market center. I won't take it off the thing, but if you look onto the map just to the right of the tooltip, you'll see a little green line, which is where, so Bruges is the center of the market. Could we take control and become the center? That'd be an interesting concept. Locations will have locations will higher market access is important 3 ways. Goods, okay. Depends on the distance and the proximity. You can improve with roads. So you can also build roads to the market. And to be honest, that means that getting control of Zealand was important, because that would give us a gateway to Bruges. You can learn more about markets in the market hint. Okay, trade. Now, markets are never completely isolated from each other. The moving of goods between two markets is called trade. So everything within the market is like a free flow. It's probably a bit like the European Union, which means things could move there. But when you move between two markets, say between Bruges and London, then that is trade. Okay. Countries can move goods between markets by using their trade capacity, creating profit or loss on the top of that. Workers living in a market can conduct trade on their own. By default, trade is automated in all markets, which means any trade capacity you possess in the markets will be used up automatically on the best deals that are available. We recommend you leave all trade automated until you have more experience with the game. So this is probably the big one that we definitely need to keep automated from the beginning, is the actual trading. So let's have a look here. So what we got here. So it says the Hollandish trade capacity in Bruges. We'll get there. Total trade capacity of Holland in the Bruges market is 3.84 due to the so we got a wharf in The Hague. We got a marketplace in The Hague, and we got a marketplace in Dordrecht, and we got an Amsterdam wharf. So obviously we need to build up those necessary buildings to get what we actually need to do. Finally, so we've got to food now. Finally, POPs also produce and consume food. Food is produced mainly by the labourers working in the resource and the RGO. Food is produced mainly by the labourers working in the RGO and the raw food materials like wheat, although peasants working on subsistence agriculture also contribute a small amount. This is similar to CK3. It's subsistence agriculture. Labourers or slaves that are not employed in an RGO or building work in subsistence architecture. They will generate food in smaller quantities than resource gathering operations. Working food raw materials often barely enough to cater for their own needs. All available population is assumed to be doing this simple form of gathering of food, even if the location has a raw good which is not directly related to food. Yeah, this is like you get a very small amount which actually gets produced when they got nothing else to do. So every market has a food stockpile which increases and decreases monthly. If the market runs out of food, the population will suffer starvation. You can see the food balance in the market card. Okay. So at the moment, this market has a positive food balance. Its provinces are safe from starvation. So at the moment, we've got a stockpile of 16,000 food, and we have a positive balance at the moment of 324. And our current food price, so it doesn't give us a unit of what the price actually is. Let's see here. Okay, that's just locations. What that is, but I presume there is a unit of purchase within the game. Let's see what we got here. Missing inputs to the Bruges market. So that's what we actually need. Our pop needs for the Bruges market. So that's our capacity. This tells us what we actually need. Some buildings are missing input goods. So what we're looking is to be able to supply these needs to improve our profitability. And this is what our pops need in order to make them happier. Okay, we'll sort that out over time. I don't know what these other owner of the market sort by owner. Yeah, okay, we'll worry about that later on. It says open the production tab. Wow. So we're now on goods. Oof. So that's buildings. That's good. So we're actually in the production tab. Okay. So we're not trading anymore. We're in production. Here you can see all the goods in a specific market. Since the pop needs filters are already applied, you are currently seeing the market balance of all the goods your pops need. You can remove the market card to see the goods of all your country, including all markets where your location. You can increase the supply of any good in the market in 3 ways. You can expand the RGO. RGOs can expand production of raw goods if you own at the appropriate locations. Construction buildings, although some of them may also produce raw goods. Buildings excel in refining raw goods into produced goods. So that's what we need to be aiming for if we're going to make Holland profitable. We need to sell added value goods. I mean, this is the basic law of economics, even in the real world. If you're a country that just sells raw goods, you get a low price. If you add value to those goods, you make profit. Importing it via trade. You can also import the goods you need from other markets if you have trade capacity available. So, for instance, you may want to create an RGO to collect wool, then construct a spinner's guild building to refine that into cloth, which is made mainly for other buildings. Is that a broad hint? So, what it's saying here? That's so what we got. Salts. Wow. Show goods that are currently in supply and demand. Right, I'm just going to click this to see if that moves. Okay, it says open. No. We're not going to go to buildings yet. I need to look at this. Is there any way we can sort this? Okay, that's better. Click the sort by goods, so we can sort it. So we've got to learn all these little icons. What were they? Was it suggesting? Let's go back one. Okay. We got Spinner's Guild. We need wool. So where's that little icon? Okay, I'm not seeing. That's paper. That's liquor. We're actually exporting cloth. Cloth's the one at the top. So cloth is our highest profitability at the moment. What's this? Select the market to import cloth from. And we don't import. We can't export it because someone's going to buy it. What's this here? We can produce goods. Okay. And it's saying that we import wool. I can't see here an icon for wool. Copper, lead. Does that mean that we've got to open a market with someone else? So there isn't a surplus. Okay. Going down the rabbit hole. I'm going to stop now, guys, before I drive you insane. Plus the fact that although this is a new part, I've been at this now for over an hour and a half, and I admit I'm starting to get a bit of a headache. Okay, so we're going to go here. It says open the buildings tab. Unlike the resource gathering operation, all buildings need some input goods to function, and then some produce goods and therefore tax base. Other buildings have different purposes, such as providing manpower, enabling the recruitment of regulars, improving crown power, and increasing the control of their locations. Buildings like the RGOs have a construction cost and take some measure to in-game time to build. Once done, to be able to function, a building requires a supply of raw goods to be present in the market. Yeah. Remember, your country could have more than one market cut. Remember that your country could have more than one market at the top of a production power that allows you to filter their contents on the market basis. So we got a Spinners Guild here. Building is open. Building is subsidy. Can we filter this one as well? Okay, so our main income is coming from there. We've got the Jewelers Guild here. It's kind of giving the impression that we've got no tar kiln, lumber mill, carpenters, bog iron smelter, clay pit. We've got sheep farms down here. Best place to build sheep farms is Rotterdam, Leiden, and Gothenburg. Requirements in the market. Okay. Required production method. What have we got here? So this is to actually build the building. Building requirements, okay. Villages, fishing villages. Oh boy. That's what we need to actually build the building. Okay, let me just get out of that. Let's go back to production again. Sorry about this. Potter's Guild. Okay, so we can produce wood from cotton, from wool, from linen. Spinners Guild. These spinners are turning this into raw cloth. Right, we got a Tailor's Guild here. What this does is it's Tailor's Guild will, this produces fine cloth enhancements. Wow. So so if we use alum and dyes, we can, oops, sorry about that. Upgrade path. Yeah, the best places to build a Tailor's Guild is Den Haag, Dordrecht, and Amsterdam. Requirements in the Bruges market for progress. That is frying my brains, guys. I'll be completely upfront. I can understand why people say, well, let's just automate it and let the game go. And I think there was, this is what it, let the game, new buildings, gold, save over 1,000 gold. Let the game produce new buildings for your building types. Production methods. Game will decide which goods any building should produce for you. That's automated. Allow the game to make trades for you in all the available markets. I'm kind of tempted to automate that trade at the moment, but we won't do it just yet. Okay, so we're now going to missions. Close that. Open the governments tab. Right, it says missions are packages of tasks which give you some guidance on exactly what you can do in EU5. This game is big. You're not kidding, Paradox. And there are many things to learn. That is part of the fun. You've just completed the economy playstyle intro. That's just the intro, which means that you now have access to missions and can help you deep dive into the. So if we click politics later on, you will get that all over again later on. So we'll start the economy. Start an economy mission. So missions are packaged in tasks that give guidance to exactly what you want to do. We want to develop the capital economy, the infrastructure economy, development of trade. I think to begin with, develop the capital economy. The wealth of your state is the riches and towns of the cities. We shall utilize this to utilize them to the furthest potential to establish the industry that will create an unmatched economy. We will gain profitable dividends for 20 years. Decaying matter. Infrastructure efforts. What's this? Gain 9 administrative, 9 diplomatic. Infrastructure, development of trade, traditional economy on completion. Our capital will serve as the beating heart of the prosper ever growing that we've developed there. We've developed a capital ability. My instinct is decay modifier. I think developing the capital is going to be probably the priority, so we're going to accept that. Bruges market. Missions are packages of tasks that will give you some guidance on things. So start the economy. Okay. Greed is, for the lack of better description, is good. Okay, wrapping up. Nice. Now we have a mission which is accessible to within the missions tab. So we got here grant privileges. That's greater. So recommended actions. Go to the government and see your estates grant. Okay. Grant privileges to the burger. Good luck there. We have got to get to the end, and to be honest, I'm going to be completely upfront, guys. I am completely confused. So I'm not going to even attempt the mission at the moment. Okay, I've just taken a 5-minute break and cleared the screen, simply because this walkthrough is a marathon, and it just hits you with so much information. And I know that you're probably watching part 2, which means that you've watching it as 2 separate videos. But because you can't save, I've had to do this in one go. I know I had a break in the beginning, and I've just taken a very short break for a cup of tea before we do the next, before we even think about it. I'm going to need to digest all this information just to try and make sense of it. And what I might do is spend a little bit of time doing it. But I've kind of thought there seems to be, what I want to do is, to finish this video off, is I want to go back to government, because we looked at the estates, but what we didn't look at is Parliament. So we got, wow, request additional taxes, lawgiver. Okay, so there's nothing in here. Cabinet. So okay, so we got to assign a cabinet here as well. We'll do that in the next part. I actually got no idea. So there's a point of cabinet members. Curiosity. So we've got to choose people, and these people have stats. So there's more than just the royal family in there. Laws. Oh god, I can imagine what this is like. Religious laws. I'm going to need to think a little bit about this. So this is our cabinet. Geopolitics, military, society. Just going to be done production with society. What's this? This is culture. Oh, I've got the flashy maps again. Lower Franconan. So this is the actual culture. So we got Ashkenazi Jews. We got 18% of the population is Frisian. The rest are Lower Franconian, which is this pie there. Religion is Catholic, goes without saying. I'm assuming that this is a breakdown of all the individual populations. Diplomacy, create subjects, manage subjects. So this is Zealand. Okay, back again. Actions, hostile actions. The military. We've got armies. We've got no armies. We've got a little navy. We don't have an admiral. But technically, if I let the game run, that will be done by the auto assign, and the navy is here. Let's have a little look at our navy. Yeah, I don't think you're going to win many battles. Oh no, that's a trade ship. Our navy is somewhere there. Oh, there's our navy, just there. Ha! One very small boat. Let me just see. Naval power of gold. Geopolitics. What on earth does this mean? The Azores. The Azores are out here. Okay, so Madeira Strait. Oh, so this is how we can do expansion. Northwest, that Western Sahara and the Maghreb. Okay, so that's what we can do. Maritime. The Rhine estuary. Oh god, diseases. We got any diseases yet? No. I know I've seen a couple of comments talking about the fact that we're going to have to experience the Black Death. And then, of course, we got researchers. So it's organized religion. Ages. That's the ages who are lost. Okay. It looks like we've only got the one research. Oh, well, we're just pop that. I suppose we've got nothing else to do. Wow. Okay. Just removed a tab. So we're doing organized religion. We got classic scholasticism guilds. Oh, can I click? Not in research queue. Universal. I think. Can we queue this up? Okay, we can confirm to add to research queue. Okay. So we can do that, and that then's expanded anything here. Isn't there some kind of map or anything like that? Can't we see this as a... Okay. Oh, it says open trees. Oh boy. Okay. Can we zoom in? Wow. But most of these are done. I'm getting it. How much of this research you get in the traditions depends on the country you start with. We're an advanced nation, so technically we've got all this researchers here, merchants guilds, things along the top here, quarrying, shipbuilding. So we've already got these researchers, and the ones with the dotted lines. So what we've got to do is finish this tree here, which is meritocracy. Nope, we haven't got meritocracy. We're on organized religion. So we've got this tree that we can do with, but we've finished these trees, I think. Yeah, footmen, advanced archers. But if we started on, say some, I don't want to be derogatory to any country, so I won't say it. So we start on a more primitive country or less developed country, I'll say it that way. That will mean that what will happen is that you will have more research to do at this level. And then I'm assuming that we go to... Wow. You've got to be kidding me, game. And we got 6 trees. Wow, there's a lot of research here. And I think this is going to be one of the bigger aspects of the game, is learning what you're going to need to, is going to benefit your economy most. Apologies that we've got merchants of trade. That would be certainly something that we would need to do, but that's in the age of... And what have we got here? It says feudalism institution has spread 100% to our location. That's our research progress. Meritocracy is coming. So what's the one here? It's meritocracy here. It's not yet spread to your location. It's coming from there. Legalism is 100%. I know how this mechanic works from Crusader Kings 2, I think. What happens is that technology spreads across the map. So it's spawned in somewhere called Notion there. Yes, the world that's not yet been explored. Looking at the language, I'd say that's somewhere out to the east. So what that means is that we can't get access to meritocracy and this tree until that is spread to us. I presume there's some way that you can see how that spread is actually reached. Government reforms. This age gives access to government reforms, religions, tolerance, market. It range from... Okay, market prices. The prices of markets can range between 10% and 300%. Organized religion. And I think looking at that research tree's just about finished me off, guys. So this is where I'm going to leave it. Hope you enjoyed the video. Hope you found it interesting. What I'm probably going to do is take a couple of days before I even start work on the next video, just to try and digest all this information that I've got. Any comments, suggestions, opinions, feel free to put it in the video description. If there's anything that you saw we looked at and you don't understand, you want to maybe take a look at it again, feel free to put it in the video description and I'll see if I can answer it to you. But in the next part, we'll start trying to deal with some of these issues here before my brain's completely run out my ears. This is where I'm going to leave it. Hope you enjoyed the video. Hope you found it interesting. And until next time, whatever you do, enjoy your gaming.